Come closer. The shadows have missed you, and tonight they have a new story to tell. Welcome to Scary Stories After Dark. I'm posting this because I can't sleep anymore. I worked nights as a nurse tech at Briar Hollow Behavioral Center for 3 weeks before I quit. I didn't quit because of the patients. I didn't quit because of the screaming or the pacing or the way the building smelled like bleach soaked into old walls. I quit because the staff warned me about something they called the tall man, and I saw him. On my first shift, the charge nurse, Marcy, handed me a clipboard and said, "You'll be fine if you follow the rules." I expected normal rules. Instead, she said, "Don't stare at the security cameras after 3 a.m. I laughed. "Why?" Marcy didn't smile. "Because if you see him, you won't forget him." That was the first time she said it. Him, like the building had a person living inside it. Later, during a quiet moment, I asked what she meant. Marcy looked up at the monitor wall and pointed to the longest hallway in the unit, Hall C, a straight stretch of waxed floor and pale doors with small windows. "He was a patient years ago," she said. "Tall, quiet, always standing in corners. One night he hurt people, and when they went to restrain him, he was gone." I frowned. "Gone how?" Marcy's eyes stayed on the cameras. Not gone, just not where he was supposed to be. I told myself it was a story to scare new hires. I told myself I was tired. Then Monday night came. At 2:47 a.m., I was doing rounds on Hall C. The lights were dimmed for quiet hours, and the air felt colder than it should have. I passed room 12, room 14, room 16, and I heard footsteps behind me. Slow, measured, heavy enough to be real, but soft enough to be close. I turned my head slightly. The hallway behind me was empty, but the footsteps didn't stop. They got closer. The lights above me flickered once, like the building blinked. And in that blink of darkness, I saw something in my peripheral vision, tall and thin, standing where there shouldn't have been anyone. When the light steadied, it was gone. My heart hammered. I forced myself to keep walking, not running. Something deep in my instincts warned me that running would turn it into a game. Then I felt it. A cold pressure at my shoulder, like someone leaning in close, a soft exhale. And a voice, so quiet it sounded like the hallway itself was speaking, whispered my name.
"Nora."
I froze. I hadn't told anyone my name on the unit yet. My badge was flipped inward. I hadn't even spoken out loud. But it knew me anyway. I walked faster, breath shaking, and made it back to the nurse's station. Marcy took one look at my face and didn't ask questions. She just turned to the cameras and enlarged Hall C. At first, the feed was empty. Then the image glitched, one burst of static, and something appeared at the far end of the hallway. Not a person, a shape. Too tall, too still, too thin to be human. It stood in the corner like it had been placed there. Marcy whispered, "Don't look at him too long." The feed glitched again, and the tall man wasn't at the end of the hall anymore. He was halfway down it, closer, still facing the camera. My stomach dropped so hard I thought I'd throw up. Marcy shut the feed off like it burned her. "You didn't speak to him," she said sharply, "right?" I shook my head. "You didn't answer him?" "No." "You didn't turn around?" "No." Marcy's voice turned small. "Good." I swallowed. "What happens if you do?" Marcy stared past me at the hallway door. "He follows you home." I quit that morning. I drove away with the sun coming up and my hands shaking so badly I could barely hold the wheel. I thought I was safe. Until last night. I woke up at exactly 3:11 a.m. for no reason at all. And when I opened my eyes, my bedroom doorway looked wrong. Too tall. Too dark. Like it had stretched. Something stood there, perfectly still, blocking the light from the hall. And in the quiet, I heard that same soft breath at my shoulder. Like it had finally made it inside. I worked one night shift at St. Lorna Psychiatric Annex, and I learned something important. If someone offers to help you at 2 a.m. in a locked facility, don't accept it. St. Lorna wasn't the kind of place that felt healing. It felt sterile and tired, like it had been built to contain problems, not solve them. The lights buzzed, the halls were narrow, the air always smelled like disinfectant and damp carpet. My charge nurse, Kim, gave me the basics and then leaned closer like she was about to tell me a secret. 3 rules, she said. Okay. Don't accept help from staff you don't recognize. I nodded. Don't go into the East Corridor after 2 a.m. I frowned. Why? Kim's eyes flicked toward the hallway. Just don't. Then she added, if someone smiles at you too long, don't smile back. I laughed because I thought she was messing with me. Kim didn't laugh. The shift stayed normal until 1:41 a.m. when I realized I'd misplaced a patient chart. I went looking for it and ended up in the supply hallway, a narrow connector lined with linen carts and locked doors. The motion lights turned on in sections as I walked, like the building was deciding how much of itself I was allowed to see. Halfway down the hall, I heard footsteps behind me. Slow, squeaking rubber soles on waxed floor. I turned. A man stood at the far end of the hallway wearing scrubs and holding a clipboard. He looked normal at first glance until I noticed his badge. Blank. No photo. Just empty white plastic. He smiled. Too wide. Too patient. Hey, he said, voice friendly. You lost something. My throat went dry. A chart. I can help, he said, and took one slow step forward. The lights above him flickered, dimming slightly, like they didn't want to shine on him. I can take you to it, he continued. It's in the East Corridor. I checked my watch. 1:42 a.m. Close enough to make my skin crawl. I'm good, I said quickly. I'll find it. His smile didn't change. You don't want to be alone in here, he said softly. That sentence didn't feel like a warning. It felt like a promise. I backed away and walked toward the nurse's station, not running. Behind me, the squeaking footsteps followed, perfectly timed with mine. When I shoved through the station door, Kim looked up instantly. "What did you do?" she asked. "I didn't follow him," I whispered. Kim's face went pale anyway. She pulled up the security camera feed. The supply hallway was empty, but the motion lights flicked on one by one, closer and closer to the station door, like something invisible was walking toward us. Then the intercom crackled overhead. Static. A cheerful voice came through. "Hey," it said. "It's okay. I can help." It was the same voice. Kim stood up so fast, her chair scraped. "That's not staff," she hissed. The intercom clicked. Then my own voice came through the speaker. "I can help." My stomach turned. I hadn't said that into the intercom. I hadn't said anything at all. Kim slammed the intercom system off. Her hands were shaking. "It learns your voice," she whispered. "Then it uses it." The station door handle moved gently, like someone polite testing the lock. Then the intercom tone beeped again, somehow even though it was off, and the voice said, softer this time, almost pleased, "Thank you for answering." I didn't answer. I didn't even breathe. I quit the next morning. But last night, when my apartment was quiet and my phone was on the counter, I heard it. A faint squeak, rubber soles on tile, and my phone screen lit up by itself. A text message appeared from an unknown number. "I can help." I didn't know Greywick Psychiatric Hospital had a basement ward until the intercom begged me to go there. I took the night shift job because I needed steady pay. Greywick was old, massive, and always cold no matter how high they set the heat. The halls smelled like bleach and rust. The lights flickered like they were exhausted. On my first night, the charge nurse, Avery, handed me keys and said, "If the intercom turns on by itself, don't answer." I frowned. Why? Avery didn't hesitate. "Because it copies you." I laughed nervously. "Copies me how?" Avery's eyes stayed flat. "You'll see." At 2:17 a.m., the intercom tone beeped. Static hissed through the speaker. Then a woman's voice whispered, strained and scared, "Help me." I froze. The voice continued, "I'm still down here." My skin prickled. I looked around the nurse's station. Everyone was still, listening. Then the voice said my name. Soft. Perfect. "Caitlin." Avery grabbed my wrist. "Don't answer." "I didn't," I whispered, throat tight. "Good," Avery said. "Because it wants you to." The intercom clicked off. The rest of the shift crawled by. I tried to focus on rounds, but every time the building creaked, I felt like something beneath us was shifting. At 3:03 a.m., the intercom beeped again. Static. And this time, it was my voice. "Help me." I felt sick. I hadn't spoken into the system. I hadn't even said the words out loud. But it was me. My tone, my cadence, the tremble I couldn't hide. Avery's voice was barely a whisper. It records you, then it calls other people with your voice. I stared at her. Why? Avery swallowed hard. Because people answer familiar voices. The shift ended at sunrise. And instead of going home like a sane person, I stayed. Because I couldn't stop thinking about what the voice had said.
I'm still down here.
I found the basement door behind a maintenance hallway. Heavy metal, no sign, scratches around the handle like someone had clawed at it. A small brass key on my ring fit the lock. The door opened with a groan that sounded like pain. Cold air spilled out, damp, rotten, cold. I walked down the stairs, each step echoing. At the bottom was a corridor painted sickly green, lined with doors that had little windows. All dark, all silent. The intercom speaker in the ceiling crackled. Beep. Static. My own voice whispered right above me.
Help me. I'm still down here.
I backed up, heart pounding. Then one of the doors clicked. Not unlocked. Just acknowledged. Like something inside had heard me. I leaned toward the window and peered in. At first, I saw nothing. Then a shape shifted in the darkness. Something hunched low near the floor. It lifted its head slowly. Its face looked unfinished, like shadow trying to pretend it was human. Its mouth opened, and my own voice came out of it.
Caitlin,
it whispered. The door handle rattled gently. Testing, patient, like it knew I was there and didn't need to rush. I ran up the stairs and slammed the basement door behind me. I quit that morning. I moved apartments 2 weeks later. I changed my number. But last night my phone buzzed with a voicemail notification. No missed call. Just a voicemail. I pressed play. Static. A soft beep. And my own voice whispered through the speaker.
Help me. I'm still down here.
Then a second voice joined mine, low, wet, and wrong.
We're learning you.
I took the night janitor job because it paid well and nobody bothered me. Hospitals need cleaners around the clock, and I didn't mind the hours. Less people, less noise, less questions. On my first night, the supervisor handed me keys, a radio, and a laminated card with a single sentence on it. If you see wet footprints that aren't yours, don't clean them. I laughed because I assumed it was some kind of joke. He didn't laugh back. Just don't, he said. Clock out and call it in. That's it? I asked. One rule? He nodded. One rule. The hospital was quiet after midnight in a way that didn't feel peaceful, more like it was listening. The lights hummed, the floors shone, every sound echoed longer than it should have. I started on the first floor, pushing my cart, mopping hallways, emptying bins. Everything was normal, boring even. At 1:12 a.m., I noticed the floor near. Don't clean them. I reached for my radio. Before I could speak, the radio crackled on by itself. Static hissed. Then a voice came through, low and calm.
Don't worry. That's just me.
I froze. The voice wasn't security. It wasn't maintenance. It sounded wrong, like it had learned how to talk by listening through walls.
I make the mess.
The voice continued.
You clean it.
I didn't answer. The radio clicked off. The footprints began to move. Not fade. Not dry. They formed one by one, pressing into the wet floor ahead of me, like something invisible was walking closer. Step, pause, step. I backed up, heart hammering, keeping my eyes on the floor. The footprints stopped 3 feet from my shoes. Then a new set appeared behind me. Closer. I turned slowly. The hallway behind me was empty, but the floor told a different story. Wet prints led right up to where I was standing. Something was surrounding me. I whispered, "I'm not cleaning them." The lights flickered. The radio crackled back on.
You already did once.
The voice said. My chest tightened. I don't know what you're talking about. There was a soft sound behind me, like bare skin touching tile.
Last week,
the voice continued, almost amused.
You cleaned the prints outside the ICU.
Cold washed through me. I hadn't worked here last week.
I remember every cleaner.
The voice said.
The ones who follow the rule and the ones who don't.
The footprints shifted again, circling now, slow and deliberate. I grabbed my cart and pushed it forward, breaking through the circle, not looking back. I didn't run. I remembered the rule didn't say run. I made it to the janitor's closet and slammed the door shut, chest burning. I locked it. The radio crackled softly from my pocket.
You can't clock out yet,
the voice said.
The floor's still dirty.
Something brushed the door from the other side. Not a hand. Too wide, too flat. Wet streaks began to appear under the door, seeping in like the floor was sweating. Bare footprints formed inside the closet. One, then another. Right in front of me. I dropped the radio and backed into the wall. I didn't clean them, I whispered. I followed the rule. The voice paused. Then it said, quieter now, almost disappointed.
You cleaned around them.
The closet lights went out. I don't know how long I stood there in the dark. When the lights came back on, the footprints were gone. So was the radio. I quit the next morning. I didn't give notice. I didn't explain. I just left my badge on the desk and walked out. but sometimes late at night when I mop my own kitchen floor, I see bare footprints forming behind me. And I don't clean them. I just turn off the light and wait. Because I already learned the rule.